and welcome to this week's hashtag Toe to Toe. My name is Leanne Johnson-Anderson and I am joined this week by Spencer and the lovely David Price. David, thank you for coming in. Happy New Year. Do you want to fill us in on your plans for 2018?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy New Year to you too. This year, I'm in training now for a fight, potentially ends of February. Got a call yesterday about fighting maybe Alexander Povetkin on the Joshua Parker card, so that's something that's getting spoken about at the minute. That'd be great if that could come off, but if not, we just carry on as we were and keep rebuilding type of thing. But if that was to come up, that'd be a great opportunity, and we'd deviate from the plan, so to speak, and go for it.
Yeah. What was it like when Eddie rang you and asked you? Were you surprised? Did you snap his hands off, or did you think about it?
I was sat with me trainer and me conditioning trainer yesterday morning, and I was talking about how at the minute motivation was a bit of an issue for me. You know, I'm in training, but I've got no date set, and just didn't have that fire in me, even though I was doing the training. And then a couple of hours later, the phone rang from MTK, who Eddie had been in touch with, and he said about potentially fighting Alexander Povetkin, and then I felt the fire relight straight away. So I put the phone down and then got back on, and I've accepted my side of it. I've said yeah, obviously, because it's a massive opportunity, no-brainer for me, a win-win situation. But yeah, now the ball is obviously in their court, and I can't see them having a problem with taking the fight. So fingers crossed.
Exciting times.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, if someone would have told me this 3 months ago, I would never have believed it. But that, it's proof that in the heavyweight division, it doesn't take long before another opportunity can come along. And even if the fight doesn't get made, the fact that it's been
muted.
Yeah. That's positive for me. That's really positive.
Yeah. What did you think when you heard the news that you might be fighting Povetkin?
We spoke about it, and I said today, they talk about me fighting Povetkin, and I said, you know what, don't take the fight. This is what I said to him, right? And myself and Ed Robertson and Andy Scott were sat there, and he goes, no, I'm taking it. I said, exactly, I was testing you to see if he was going to say, or what he was going to, and you passed the test, and you passed the test.
Spencer's test. Which is great.
Well, when we advertised that you were coming on the show, we got loads of tweets coming through, a lot from the press conference yesterday when you got a little mention by Anthony Joshua. Yeah. So we'll start with that one. B-Tech Promotions tweeted in, what is your account of what happened when you sparred AJ?
I remember it well. It was the first, I'll go into detail here, it was the first time I was sparring 10 rounds, because I was doing my first 10-round fight in a Commonwealth title eliminator. So we're going back 6 years now, or maybe 7, coming up to 7 years. I'd been pro for a couple of years, but I was aware of who Anthony Joshua was, because he was coming through and he'd won 2 ABA titles. And because I'd not long-term pro, I still had a keen eye on the amateurs. So it was obviously him, Fraser Clark, and an ex-pro called Lee Swaby. And we were just mixing the rounds in, but I was going to get the 10 rounds straight off. And long story short, I just caught Anthony Joshua with the right hand in probably one of the later rounds for me. In a similar fashion to Klitschko, that type of shot landed. And it was a heavy knockdown.
Did you dummy the right hand before you threw it?
It was like
it was a right hand?
Yeah, it was a right hand, but it was like a throwaway left hook and a big right hand. But in fairness, he wasn't easy to catch before that. And you could see he did have something, even though he was obviously
a novice,
but still an ABA champion, at the same time. And the punch landed, and he went down heavy, and the trainer jumped in and helped him out the ring type of thing. But as far as sparring goes, he's mentioned that yesterday and got my name back out there. I'm David Price now of Anthony Joshua sparring fame, not David Price of his own accord fame. But as far as sparring goes, that isn't something that I brought up till last year, in the hope that it drum up some interest in me getting a shot at Joshua when he had a voluntary defence, and I was in the top 10 with the IBF, and I thought, if there's ever a time to spill the beans, I'll do it now. I might get a massive opportunity, but unfortunately it didn't come to light. And what he's saying is right as well. There's no shame especially, all right, if it was a non-puncher, then you might want to start worrying, but Joseph Parker's promoters are using me as an example to say that someone's chinny, then that means a lot of other people are chinny as well, because I've done that to many people, you know what I mean? But yeah, long time ago, but yeah, they should put my name back out there either way.
I bet your phone was going crazy yesterday when everyone was watching it, wasn't it?
Yeah, a few people messaged me, and I was sat in the gym and I was like, yeah, but you know, it's obvious who got the last laugh. And Josh was sitting at the top table for the unified title, and I'm sat in the gym lifting weights, waiting for a call. But I got the call a couple of hours later, and I mean, you know, it's created interest in me again, even though indirectly it's better than nothing, you know.
Yeah. Did you watch the press conference yesterday then? What did you make of all of the beef between the promoters? David Higgins, Parker's promoter, had quite a lot to say, didn't he?
Yeah, I've seen a few clips, and he did have a lot to say, and I think Eddie Hearn put him in his place the right way as well. I mean, a lot of slandering had gone on before the fight was signed on Joseph Parker's team's part, and I remember I was watching and I was thinking, this is so unprofessional, how they were behaving, YouTube clips and things like that, but you know, they were going to get the fight either way because they're bringing something to the table. They had the belt to bring to the table. They didn't really need to go down that route. And I think they were trying to get more of a percentage by acting like that. But anyhow, you could see they toned it down at the press conference. You'd expect them to come in all guns blazing, but they were like, we've got what we wanted now, we'll be gentlemen. Type thing. And Eddie Hearn was like, well, not really, no, you've said this, now we want an explanation. So,
listen, fair
what
play
did you,
to Eddie
you were
Hearn.
there, yeah, you were there, Spencer.
To Eddie. Let me tell you, Eddie Hearn was getting high fives in South London yesterday, because that
doesn't happen often, does it?
No, it doesn't. That was, because he's a tall guy as well, so it's hard to high five, right? So I'm saying to you, like, he was getting it because he stuck it straight on their camp. And he was saying, look, you do not do the things that Anthony Joshua's got if you're mentally weak. He was trying to say that the man was mentally weak, right? And like they were saying things like, okay, then let's rattle this interest, and they got that. But I said, you got the WBO title, so you've got something anyway, and I'm glad that it's happening now, and we'll see fight time now. Great fight.
Moving on to another heavyweight fight, we've got Richard Atwell has tweeted in, which fight of the fights coming up are you looking forward to the most? White v Brown has me intrigued.
Yeah, White v Brown, it's got all the makings of a great fight. Two boxers who seriously dislike each other. There's been a bit of needle for a while.
Have you sparred with Lucas Brown?
I've never sparred with Lucas Brown. I sparred with Dillian White many years ago when he was just starting out as a pro, and I remember tabbing him for success then. You know, he was a real handful, but he's become more polished now as a fighter. And that is what I think in this fight can win Dillian the fight. I think if he boxes the way he did, maybe let's look at the Ian Lewison fight. You know, just take the sting out of Lucas Brown and use his longer arms and the longer reach to outbox him. Lucas Brown hasn't really been that active either. Dillian White's got momentum at the minute, and he's got on a great run of form. So it's an intriguing fight, but it's one of them where the build-up's going to be that explosive. The fight is really going to take something to live up to it. You know, where you see these build-ups where they're at each other's throats, and these fights very rarely live up to the build-up. This may be the same, only because the tactics that I think the more sensible boxer will take on board to use as boxing to win the fight.
How do you see the fight going?
I think Dillian White will win on points.
Yeah. Spencer, what do you think?
I think it's a fantastic fight. For the simple fact, I think this could actually be Dillian White versus Derek Chisora too, but we're not using Derek Chisora now, we're using Lucas Brown, because their styles will complement each other. And we can see that Dillian White is still early in boxing learning. Do you understand? It's like we're seeing guys like who haven't gone through like extensive amateur programs or boxed on a GB squad, or Dillian White never got none of those kind of things. Dillian White is just a rough and tumble human being who is now being refined. Now, if you look on somebody like Lucas Brown's just tough. You watch his fight, his win against Chigaev, he was losing that fight hands down, and he just bit down on his gum shield and threw shots and won that fight. This is what makes it good. and it's going to be interesting, like the press conferences before the fight as well, because they both have they both got rich characters. So we're going to see what happens. But I've got Dillian Whyte winning this fight for the simple fact that Dillian Whyte is improving as a boxer, and in this, he may gonna have to revert back to the rough and tumble Dillian Whyte. I don't think Lucas Brown's got the power of Anthony Joshua, and Dillian Whyte is in far better condition than he was in that fight. So this is a great fight. I've got Dillian Whyte winning the fight.
Another explosive build-up to look forward to. Moving on to another heavyweight fight, we've got Norman Barton has tweeted in, the betting odds suggest that Deontay Wilder has a tougher task with Luis Ortiz than AJ does with Parker. Do you agree? David, you can start us up on this one.
I think as far as risk is concerned for both champions, I think it's similar. Luis Ortiz, I wouldn't put him down as any more dangerous than Joseph Parker. It's just the styles compared to Parker. He's the southpaw, which may throw Wilder a curveball, but he's dealt with southpaws before. He's beat out Spilker. I'd say Luis Ortiz is better than Spilker. So, yeah, I would agree with that, because Wilder is a class act, and he's a ferocious puncher. But I still think Luis Ortiz has got a bit of an unknown element. Joseph Parker, on the other hand, with Joshua, my gut feeling is that Joshua will make light work of Joseph Parker if Joseph Parker tries to engage with him. I think the tactic that he wants to employ is similar to what Takam, move a little bit. If you stand in front of Anthony Joshua, you're likely going to get hit, and Parker is no different from anyone else. So, yeah, I would agree with that. I'd say Wilder's got a harder fight than Joshua.
Spencer?
I'm telling you this now, Deontay Wilder is going to knock out Luis Ortiz, because when you're a technical guy and you're fighting a southpaw, when you're up close, it doesn't matter if you're southpaw, orthodox, if you're square on. If you're fighting at range, and he's got very long arms. But the thing that impresses me the most with Wilder is that big right hand of his. That right hand it's like a nuclear bomb. It's an atomic bomb. And I think he'll be able to land it. And not only this, but morally, here is a man in Luis Ortiz who's been caught twice for drugs. And you have the element that, I know, so you must be against it because that happened with you, right? Yeah. So, twice for drugs, and the moralistic element for boxing, for the sake of boxing, I want to see. I want to see Deontay Wilder just knock 10 bells out of Luis Ortiz. And plus, on the 2 times that Sky has showed Luis Ortiz recently, he didn't impress me. And I remember watching him before, and I thought, this guy's fantastic. And he didn't impress me. And maybe he's getting old. You know, he used to spar with Lennox Lewis. Do you know that? Yeah, I think he's older than the same. The man used to go to school with my mum. He was my mum's school teacher. He's that old. I'm not listening. The guy's old. He's an old guy, and I want him to get knocked out. But I think Parker's gonna give AJ a hard fight. I've been arguing with our producers, Ed Damerel and his brother Richie, and I really do believe that it's gonna go long. But I still think Anthony Joshua can stop him. But I think the fight can go long. I won't surprise me if it goes points.
Interesting. Well, this last one will end on you, David. Paul Altai has tweeted in, does David feel he has fulfilled his full potential in boxing?
No, I don't. Which is why I'm still persevering and trying to achieve almost close to what I should do. For the simple reason, I want to be able to sleep at night when I'm not boxing anymore. But at the same time, I've achieved more than a lot of people can say, but for my own goals coming through, I think I could have achieved more, which is why I'm still here. I mean, you set yourself goals as you go along. When I first turned professional, I'd always set a short-term goal. Instead of reaching for the stars, right, I want to be a world champion. It was like, right, let's try and win a British title. Once I won the British, then I started thinking big, and it fell apart soon after. But I still think, a European title. I'd love to be able to fight for a world title. I'd love to be able to compete to fight for a world title. If I won, brilliant. But just to say I was a world title challenger, at this stage, right now, would be enough for me. But if I got given the opportunity to fight for it, obviously the mindset had changed, and it'd be no, I want to win it. It isn't enough. So, but yeah, to answer this question, no, I don't think I have yet.
We've got a lot more to look forward to.
Well, like Spencer said before, it's not where you start, it's where you finish.
That's right.
You know, so it's where you finish. So let's see where to finish.
And on that note, we'll end it there this week. My thanks to Spencer and David. Tune in next week for more #toe-to-toe or check out iTunes for the podcast.
Sky Sports. Feel it all.